Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You're always most welcome. So today, something a little bit different. Time for something completely different. Well, not completely obviously, but a new kit has been sent to us by a very good friend of the channel. So I mustn't use the word donated because he'll get very, very irritated when he's watching live chat, I'm sure. Loaned is the correct word, he has instructed me. Pity. Anyway, this is interesting because this is a slightly more serious one today perhaps, because this is from Clearprop. Now Clearprop are a company in the Ukraine. I haven't got huge knowledge of their sort of history, but they have come to prominence in the last sort of 12 months. And when you consider what's going on in that country, I think it's something that commands respect, really, that we have some interesting new kits coming out of this country from so many different manufacturers, it seems. And I thought we'd have a look at this as soon as we could, really. So it's the Mig-23 MLA Flogger-G, which of course was used by the Soviet Air Force and of course other Soviet states like the Czech Republic. I'm going to show you the side of the box here. So here we go. I've got to warn you, this has got some tiny print. I'm going to have to change my glasses for a second, otherwise I will never be able to tell you anything. Just bear with me one moment and I'll tell you what it says. You can probably read it actually with the zoom. You've got the benefit of the zoom. So we've got the early 1980s USSR option here. Another marking here is the Czech Republic in May 83. Another one for the Czech Republic, and this is in September 1998. And then we've got the East German Air Force here in 1990, so that's an interesting option. So some quite interesting marking options. So this is their kit number CP72030, which gives the impression they've probably made about 30 kits. So they've sort of passed me by, I have to say, Clearprop have, but this is going to be very interesting. So we've got 263 parts, which sounds a lot for such a small kit. And then it just gives you the dimensions and things there. So zoom you out a little bit. Now there is one thing I should mention before we go any further. I think there's a couple of extras in here and I better point that out. It's not a cheap kit, I have to say. I was actually shocked when I just looked it up. It's retailing around the £47 mark, which for a 72nd scale is quite a lot of money, really. It's yeah, it's not ridiculous, but it's high-ish. So we'll see what we get. Anyway, let's keep a completely open mind and see what is in the box. And it's one of these typical, very popular in Ukraine, aren't they? These, the ICM are the same, box within a box. I personally like it a lot because, frankly, it well protects the kit instead of these stupidly flimsy boxes we get from people like Revell in particular. Didn't talk about the aircraft itself. I'll get into that perhaps more in a minute. Okay. Oh, we seem to have got quite a few extras here. Exhaust and air scoops. And these are Clearprop optional parts. Ejection seat. Ooh, okay. A whole load of stuff actually. And there's a wheel set. So I think these are options that are, they're definitely options that have been bought separately. Wow, that's quite impressive. So we've got a whole load of things there. We've got 2 bags of sprues. We've got a bag of decals, and we have then got what looks like a mask set, paint mask set, yes indeed. Okay, instructions and some other data. Let's have a look at this. To one side. Well, so far, the packaging and the presentation's very, very good, that's that. And they're doing a Bayraktar drone model here that they're obviously working on, or have perhaps already in their stock. Quite interesting. And then on the back we've got some of their other products. This is quite interesting, isn't it? So yes indeed, we have got the Bayraktar TB2. We've got the Airco DH9A from World War I. We've got the kit we're going to review today on the left, the Flogger-G. There's also the Flogger-G with the Israeli option, Israeli Air Force Defence Force option. A Sky Shark, that's an interesting plane, isn't it? XA2. And then a Mohawk, Vietnam era aircraft. Well, that's quite an interesting array of models, to be honest. So they've got some interesting subjects, that's for sure. Now, I'm going to just read you a little bit of history here. So what I'm going to do is zoom you out a bit, and then you can look at the array of interesting things on the desk in front of me. I'll put our box over there. It's probably not going to stay up for us. Never look. Or is it? No, it isn't. Determined not to. There we go. Except we've got the light on it, reflection. There we are. Right then. I definitely need to change glasses for this. They have a thing about tiny writing, this company, it seems. In 1975, the Mig-23 ML fighter, an improved version of the Mig-23M, made its first flight. The aircraft was equipped with the new Sapphire 23 ML radar sight, a more powerful R35-300 engine, a new 26SH heat direction finder, and an ASP-23 DCM sight. The design of the new aircraft was significantly changed in the nose area, landing gear. The tail fin was changed, the fuel supply was reduced. Fuel consumption, I think I mean. The R-24RT air-to-air missiles were introduced as the armament. The production of the aircraft began in May 1976. Okay, and you've got to remember this is about the time that the Tornado was being wheeled out as a prototype, slightly earlier, but thereabouts. From the aircraft serial number, a new version of 23MLs went into production. The modification of the aircraft, sometimes referred to as the M23 MLA, retained the same designation, IDELI 2312. It had the new Amethyst radar sight, a new shooting sight, and the ASP-17ML were installed, and the capabilities of working on ground targets was expanded. Production of the aircraft of this modification began in June 1978, so this is the MLA, and continued until 1982, when the last aircraft for the Soviet Air Force was delivered. Manufacturing of the export modification continued until 1984 and was supplied to the Czech Republic, East Germany, Bulgaria and Cuba, and simpler configurations were also in service with Angola, Syria, North Korea and Libya. Look at this, my word, look, this is like a brochure, like a little brochure, rather than a conventional instructions. I have a good feeling about this somehow. Right, now then, as I say, pretty sure that these are not included. I don't really want to open, as they're not mine, I'm not going to open these because they are staples. So we'll just have a little look at these first. Here we've got the mask set. I think their diagrams are rather good. They seem to be very more explaining than some of the things we get from the Far East, for example. Yeah. And that's your mask. It's actually a very small mask set and quite a big bit of packaging. So that's the mask set there. Then we have got a wheel and tyre set, and they are wheels. The wheels are, oh, here we go. The wheels are on a resin block, and the tyres are separate, as you can see there. It's quite interesting. And then we've got, there's a little intake there as well. It's actually quite hard to see because it's just dark resin. They are resin parts, very nice. Then we've got a 3D, hey look at this, a 3D printed ejection seat. Try and get this in a bit closer if I can. It's not big. 3D printed ejection seat, see that? That's nice, it's got harnesses with it. And it's also got what looks like a mask set attached as well. But I do like the 3D printed, that's very, very cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. And then, this looks particularly impressive. We have got the exhaust as an air scoop and basically a set of exhausts. If I tilt it sideways, it should be easy to sort of make out the detail. Because again, they've moulded it in this very dark resin, which doesn't work so well on the camera. Even if I take it out of the packaging, that's not going to work too well on the camera. It's so dark. But they look really exquisite. Can you see side detail there. There's quite a lot of detail. I'm not sure my camera's been able to pick that up too well. Anyway, we will move on to the kit. And fear not, on the kit we will be opening the bags and having a proper look as per the instructions from the owner. And thank you very much to the owner, the man with no name today. A bit like Clint Eastwood. We call him Clint if you like. Right, so we have here a stencils call out that is separate. I'll bring you in to have a nosy at this. Oh my god, there are quite a lot, I've got to say. There is a lot of them. Yeah, there's 130. 130? Oh yes, there's absolutely tons of them. Oh, that looks a lot, doesn't it? Oh boy. Not something I really enjoy too much, if I'm honest. You also got them on the seat, which they're called out separately there. And then we get into the major part of the kit. So we'll look at the instructions first, and then we shall have these bags. Fear not, we'll have them open in a jiffy and have a very close look at them indeed. So I'm just squinting at the bags. Yeah, they definitely were the aftermarket parts that we saw there. So let's have a little look at this. I'm going to swap glasses to try and have a better view for myself. I'll give you a better view with the zoom. There we go. So you've got quite a lot of sprue tree detail there, that's quite handy. Photo etch parts as well, which we'll come to in a minute. Lots and lots of decals and of course many stencils. So the variants of assembly, so it's basically saying you can either have wings swivel forward or back and the cockpit open or closed. So, here we go. Quite a detail, looks like we've got decals for the instrumentation, but quite a detailed little instrument set. Looks like you've got like a backing set and then a cover set, like a decal that goes over the top. Oh, it's PE actually, sorry. Decal with PE going over the top, okay. And there is a lot of detail in there, look at that, that's all the instrument panel. On a 172. Who'd have thought it when we were so easily pleased with those little Matchbox kits or Airfix in the 70s. Then we've got the ejector seat going in, complete with its cushions, and the ejector seat rocket tube. And then we're going to put in all the detail with the headrests and the harnesses, which are PE. Then you've got the floor going in with your rudder pedals and your stick. And then you've got all the side panels coming in here with various side controls on the side of the cockpit. A couple of holes to be drilled over on this side. And then we've got some more PE coming in here. My mind is racing because I'm thinking, no, it's not 70-second, it's 40. It's not, it's 70-second. It is, it's tiny, you know, it's not huge. So this is probably some very fiddly work, but it looks really well detailed, doesn't it? Look at that. Lots of PE parts going in again. All the cockpit side detail. Looks like the gear controls. And then you've got to bring. It's like it's kind of a unitary approach, I think here, modular, shall we say? Where we've got a nose section. Going to put in the ejector seat, cockpit floor, instruments, and the bulkhead at the back going in. And then the dreaded air intakes, which on these sort of aircraft always make me very nervous because they are usually a challenge. And you've got air scoops and all your trunking there on the intake going into the engine, the front blade assembly of the engine. I like the format they've done this in. Slightly reminds me of the gas patch ME163. Not quite as colourful in this case, but it's still very clear. You know, there's no guesswork here, is there? Look at this. You've got arrows pointing to exactly where the parts are supposed to meet. Good clarity there, not like kinetic. Yeah, I'm impressed with this. So they've certainly made an effort with these instructions. And then we've got the floor of the aircraft going in there, complete with the nose gear bay. And then we've got, this is some of the bay, the gear bay I think it is actually, it will become the gear bay later, main gear bay. and then you've got the afterburner rings at the back, engine ring going in, and then the final exhaust pipes at the rear. And again, this very unitary construction where we've got the two side plates that form the outer fuselage body, and then we've got the top. It's all in separate pieces. It's a little bit like the Mig-23 from ICM. Similar ideas. A couple of holes to drill over here, and then we've got our wings coming in, which look like they are in a single piece. Is that right? Did I miss something? Did we assemble some wings already, or are they just in one piece? They must be just in one piece. Yep, must be one piece wing. Okay, and then it's showing you a different angle here. Underneath we've got our main gear bay doors going in there. Sorry, it's not the, no, I'll start again, that's wrong. It's not the gear bay doors, it's just the covers over where you've actually put the swing wings in. It's like an outer shroud, so to speak. And there's a different version for the swing version, obviously because the angle's different. Different for the swing than it is for the open, I see. Then we've got like a couple of like glove vein type of thing here, where the wings slide in to the body, the fuselage. And again, there's two options because you've got swing or open or swung in. Then we've got the sort of outer panels on the intake covers, like the air fences. And then we've got a couple of slots that you need to open. A couple of slots that sorry, where are they supposed to be? That doesn't seem very clear to me. Am I missing something? Open slots. Where is that? Okay, it's not been very well explained, but it is, I think, at the back of the tail here. You've got to open up the slots for the rudder. Don't know why that is not a good diagram. That's the first one that's made no sense. Okay, we move on. Obviously, you've got your tail planes going together there, and then you bring in all those rear tail planes and your vertical stabilizer tail sections coming in, and then you've got the engine final outer pipe, thrust pipe, so to speak, exhaust pipe. That goes in there. Over here with them building up. Again, it's not. The diagrams are nice, but they're just not as descriptive as they might be. We could do with it saying main gear legs, yeah, and then you've got these wheels and tyres that have got to be built up here. And of course we've got the aftermarket set for that, so make them really detailed. Okay. Over on this side we've got all the little doors with the inner doors for the main gear. And then you've got the outer doors to go in there. It tells you the exact position of them, which is quite helpful here. And then you've got the nose leg being created here with the twin front wheels tyres, and it's got the FOD guard that goes over it to protect it from punches, in theory, something that the Soviets are very into. And then we've got the actuator arm going in, and then you just decide how you want your gear up or down, of course. Gear doors going on there. And it's a template. I think when they say template, they mean mask. Then we've got a couple of little like aerials going in on the tail here, and then we've got the ventral fin under the back, which of course it does fold, doesn't it? On these for landing, it folds in, I think. And the flogger, and then you've got air scoops and all sorts going in here. Couple of detail parts, some very fine parts here, PE parts going in, all sorts of sensors and pitos and things like that. Then we're building up our canopy, either open or closed, and then you've got your It's like the sensor. It's the cannon, in fact, that goes under the nose. Cannon? Is that right? Yes. Is it cannon? I think so. And then over here we've got all the little pitos again and aerials going on the nose area. Canopers in the nose antennas and the GS. Yes, to the gun. I was right about the cannon. So it's the GSH-23 cannon gun. Then we've got some drop tanks to go on if you require, and the pylons. Excuse me. And then over here, alternatively, you've got drop tanks on the wings, fuel tanks on the wings, auxiliary fuel tank. And then here we've got the air brakes going in. Same with the side, so you've got the starboard side and the port side. Yet more air brakes on the top. It's got 4 air brakes, this plane. That must need a lot of slowing down. So I'm taking they didn't use a parachute then. I thought they did. Okay. And then we've got the R-23T air-to-air missiles, R-24 air-to-air missiles. And then there's a nice reference view there for you to show you how it should look. And then there's like a sidewinder equivalent, the sort of air-to-air combat, the R-13M. And then the big R-60. Are those the ones that are called Acrid missiles? Am I right there? One of the big heavy-duty missiles. And then there's the pylons for each one going on. And another rocket here. I think it's a ground attack rocket, the KH-23M. And then it shows all the different loadouts here, which is quite helpful, quite like that. I have to say the quality of this is very nice. I'm not sure about all the design of it, but the quality is excellent. And here we go then, different schemes. So we've got the Czech Air Force here, Mig-23, or you've got the Czech Air Force in Czech Republic in September 1990. It's got like a tiger stripe on the tail. Then over here we've got the Soviet version. And then if you wish you can even have the East German Air Force, 1990. And I think that's about it. And then we have decals on the missiles. And there are many, many decals. Oh my goodness gracious. That's a lot. On the pylons, on the missiles, a lot of decals in this kit, by the look of it. Which we will, without further ado, we'll have a jolly good look at it. Well, so far, I've got to say, I like the diagrams. They look really sharp and clear. They're just lacking a bit of direction, you know, and explanation, descriptiveness. I think that visually they're probably better than we've seen from a lot of manufacturers recently, but they just do with a bit more words, frankly, is what I'm looking for. You need words. Right, now let's have a look at these properly. So this is something new manufacturer to me. Haven't seen any product from Clear Prop at all yet. So we'll keep an open mind and see what they present us with. Let's have a look. There's a lot of stencils in this kit, I can tell you. Look at the size of these, they're absolutely tiny. Ooh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to need every pair of glasses on, you know, to get this done right. I think so. Yeah, you see that? You see how fine they are? I mean, that's fine, isn't it? You're working on these, I'm not sure you're going to read them, even if you can read Russian. So I tell you now, you are going to need to be equipped something like I am. 1, 2, 3 different pairs of glasses. Because even using the 3, oh yeah. But wow, that's tiny printing. It's amazing they could actually print it like that. Anyway, I'll remove those because it's not necessarily helping me. But that is tiny, and you're going to have to be on your A game. Plenty of coffee, no alcohol before you go working on this. But some lovely decals, look at these. They're very nice, and who does the decals for them then? Just says Clear Prop, okay. Yeah, there's no other names are given apart from Clear Prop. By the way, I'm going to just reorganise my desk as I'm showing this, because I think we need to just, oops, I'm going to need to just change the lighting a little bit to give us the maximum quality. But yes, there we go. Some nice check markings. They're quite a sort of a matty satin finish on them. And here we've got an absolute ton of more stencils. I mean, it's just clear that you're going to be busy with the stencils on this kit, I think. That's for sure. There are a lot of them. So, if that's not enough, there's more. Look at these. Oh, these are tiny. There's a lot to go at here. Now, I personally, I'm not knocking them because I think they've done a brilliant job to even print these, but I just wonder on a 72nd scale kit, I think you may potentially create a lot more problems by putting on these entire set of stencils. And I say that really mainly because I think the problem is you run into the danger of having so many stencils on it and so fine that they will detract a little bit from the paint job and the overall finish of the kit. I think at bigger scales it's not so bad, but when to get every one of those off, I'm not sure I recommend that, to be honest. But I'm not criticising Clearprop for doing it at all. That's brilliant that they've gone to that trouble to be as accurate as they can be. But I do wonder on a smallish model like that whether you want to put all of them on. I'd have a look at them if I were you and take a bit of a view. Anyway, we've got some photo etch here. Oh, this is nice. Look at this now. Look at this. There's quite a bit of it as well. So you've got those afterburner rings for the engines. You've got all manner of the seat belts, although we do have an alternative aftermarket set. But anyway, I do get the feeling that some of these parts are actually duplicated though in the aftermarket set. He says, leaning down to get it. Here it is, the aftermarket set. Pretty sure. Yeah, I think I'm right. There is a duplication there. There's a real duplication of the belts, so I think it doesn't matter which way around you do it. You can do it either way. So there's a lot there, and there's, again, the 72nd scale. Some of these parts are absolutely tiny. My goodness, you're gonna need to have your best glasses on. I know the owner of this kit has just been and got himself some very expensive new glasses. And look at this. These are the fins for the missiles. Good lord! I mean, they are just tiny, aren't they? Coming a bit closer. Look at those. Impressive though, especially to do them, to make the effort to do them at that scale. I am impressed so far. I'm going to zoom out a bit. And I'm going to take a look at the plastic, proper close look. But if you'll just indulge me for a second, I'm going to just put these decals safely away. For some reason they don't provide them with any tissue to protect them. Seems a little bit odd, but there we go. So put that in there. I think the safest thing to do is actually put that in there with them. That's a good idea. Juices the number thing are rattling around in the box. Now then, acid test. Now remember, some of you will, if you just cast your mind back a few days, that we had the What's Your Favourite Model series of videos. I did 4 of them. And the last episode was where, okay, it's not that the last ones were my absolute favourites, but we did have that rather nice Mig-23 Foxbat from ICM in the Ukraine as well. And that was 72nd scale, and it was a beauty. I think you'll probably agree. One of my best kits, probably definitely the best 72nd scale kit I've ever done. No contest, to be honest. So this is sort of in that same market, albeit with a different aircraft. So let's see what we've got. Now I've never seen these guys before. I'm going to swap to my other glasses again. And these are my big zoom glasses, so I can see it with real detail. I'll zoom you in so you can enjoy the same thing. Here we go. So I'm going to move that because that's just going to cause problems. There we are. So this is the fuselage, the underside of the fuselage. Wow. Look at that. That's remarkable. Those are really nice parts for 72nd. We've got no sign of any ejector pin marks anywhere. It shouldn't be, even in the trunking. Looks very sharp, nice plastic. Very nice recessed details here. Raised and recessed detail. Yeah, that's really nice. I like that. That's a great start. Second one, and this one we've got a lot of the various fins. We've got these air intake side panels for the jet engine intakes. This is the tip. I think there's two alternative versions. This is the tip here for the tail. And your various pylons, nicely moulded, isn't it? There's no flash or anything there. That's very nice, very crisp for a little 72nd scale kit. Here we've got, and I was right, the wings are in one piece as I suspected. So here's the one piece wings that we spoke of. And the detail in here is very fine. That looks very to scale. Look at that, look at the sort of riveting detail, unusual riveting style within the top of the wing there. It is the top, isn't it? Or is that the bottom? Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's the top. That's just remarkable. And then underneath, slightly different appearance, but look at the finesse here. It's almost like they are actually engraved rather than, you know, moulded. Very fine, isn't it? Look at that. You've got the swing position here, showing where the arc of the swing pivot is. Then you have got down here the base of the tail that comes in two halves. Again, super subtle but sharp at the same time. Very fine relief on all the detail. Same with the tail planes here. That's gorgeous, isn't it? I think this will make it into a really nice MiG actually. Over here we have got, this is the standard engine nozzle. And then you've got, again, beautifully detailed the intake compressor blade for the engine. That is stellar, isn't it? You've got some of this lovely cockpit side detail over here. Same again over here. All the little flaps and the covers for the undercarriage. I've got the bulkhead there that goes in the middle of the fuselage. Then over here, now we come to the top of the aircraft, just behind the cockpit area. And again, this very finely, almost engraved finish with these tiny rivets in it. The riveting is just stunning, to be honest. I can kind of see why it's not that cheap now I've got it in my hand, because the moulds that they've probably created for this must be just a work of art, really. And just look at this. Doesn't have much in common with a Matchbox or a Airfix. I had the Airfix Mig-23 and it was a bit rubbish, really, I think. That is most impressive. Most impressive. So I'll pop those away in their bag. Some surprisingly detailed, really, at this scale. I'm struggling to think of a 1/72 scale kit that has got more physical detailing than that has. The only thing I can think straight away that comes really close would be that ICM Mig-23. I think I'm going to open those, you know. I suspect that the owner would quite like me to open those. And if he doesn't want me to, then he better look away now. Not this minute, but very soon. Now then, over here we have got a couple that are duplicated, so I'll put one of those back in because that'll save us a little bit of time. And let's have a look at it. So, oh yes. Again, some really sharp parts. Look at this. So this is the rockets and the pylons for the weapons. And we've got some remarkably sharp stuff going on here. Look at the detail here on this pylon even. The rivet detail. Screws, rivets. Beautifully moulded, super sharp. I'm presuming the moulding is in Ukraine. Beautiful rockets there. Very, very fine, sharp pieces, you know. Got various fins and tails on the rockets there. That's fairly remarkable, gotta say. Put that one back in the blue one. Oops. And then we have the side of the cockpit here, looking to, sorry, it's the rear, I'm going to say it's the front, it's not, it's the rear. So this is the lower side, left lower side, port lower side, and here we've got the starboard lower rear side of the fuselage, I should say, not the cockpit. It's the fuselage sides basically. Got our drop tanks here. Again are very, very sharp indeed. A couple more of these pylons. Then we have got where is the nose? I don't know where the nose section is. We haven't got to that yet, or have I missed something? I must have missed it. I'm sure I have. Yes, it's there, built into the side, yeah, okay. So this is the standard parts that's supplied with the kit. And again, look at the tiny, tiny parts, the fineness of them. Some tiny parts there. Here's your little nose wheels. Then you've got your main wheels, but of course the owner of this has gone and got himself some lovely optional resin ones. Then you've got the little bulkheads here and here around the engines, and then over to this side we've got yet more of the minute parts. Yeah, it looks quite a fiddly little kit, I've got to say, because there's so many tiny, tiny parts. And then here we've got, oh, again, look at this. Look at these baffles on the intakes. The sort of ears for the intakes. They've got like baffles built into the sonic baffles. Very detailed. There's your outer part, the ram, so to speak. Some lovely moulding though. Such fine, sharp, detailed parts. It's an absolute revelation, isn't it? I'm really impressed. I can see, yeah, I can see the price looks justified. Which I wasn't sure before I opened the box, it just sounded wrong really. It sounded like a 48 scale kit price to me. Certainly at the high end of 72nd. And then finally, we have our clear parts. Now, nice and sharp and bright. I think there's a little bit of distortion. They're not the most, I think they're quite thick actually in truth. Not sure how scale like they are. They're not too bad, you can really tell that. There's a bit of distortion going on there, I'd say. Minor distortion. but they are quite consistent, so that helps. We haven't got these sort of areas that, you know, distort and then goes good and then distorts again. That's fairly consistent, and it's also got a very nice appearance in terms of the front screen. Nice little kit, isn't it, actually? It's a nice one. Got these aftermarket parts. Do you think I should open them? You'll notice. Should I do that? I'm going to get into trouble. They're not exactly making it easy for us, I've got to say. They are not making it easy. I can just tease that out there. I'm going to have to use a tool for this. Hang on a second. If I use a tool, I'm going to better sheared off. Oops. It's alright, I'm only doing it on live television that everybody can see. Listen, it could be worse. It could be his kit that I'm breaking, not just a staple. You asked poor John Bevan about that. His tank tracks that were, well, they were looking a bit worse for wear when I'd finished with them. Not exactly my finest hour. Right, here we go. So, okay, I'm just going to take the little bag of parts out if it'll let me. Yes, it will. Here we go. So, yeah, I've got that out relatively scot-free, really. Let's have a look, because I think these are worth seeing. Oh, my word, those, they're beautiful. They're beautiful, look at this. Not sure how much, if I can get close enough to give you the benefit of this. See that? Look at the fine detailing. It's almost like an engraving again. And if you look carefully at the inner face, which again is probably quite hard to photograph, but you can see that they've got the fluting very detailed inside as well, not just on the outside. It's a lovely piece of resin. That's a very, very fine part, that is. And then the other one, because I think there's two different options. One is sort of open and one is closed. This is the second one, where it's a little bit more restricted. Full afterburner sort of scenario. And again, look at that. Isn't it detailed? It's a nice piece, isn't it? It's a very, very nice piece. Yeah, we like that. And then there's a little, just a little intake, little piece here. Maybe not quite as significant, but beautiful pieces. Very, very nice. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I can see why he bought those. It just goes that bit further, doesn't it, than the standard plastic can really do. Yeah. There's no comparison really. It's just the fineness of resin moulding versus styrene, injection molded styrene, really. I shall endeavour to repair his. We'll get the stapler around. We'll try and put that back as it was. That might be easy just to leave, actually. I don't think you mind. Very kind of him to let us see this, because it's obviously they're new. These are the 2023 kit just come out. Something from a manufacturer that I think really does deserve to be supported, given where they are and what they're going through. So let's just see if I can do the same with the seat. Maybe I should have prepared this before I went on air, you know. But I don't do that. I don't pre-prepare my videos. I shoot them exactly as if you just got them in the post and you opened up the box yourself, because I want it to be more authentic, so you actually get the same first impression kind of with me at the same time. And I don't think that if you pre-prepare everything, I think people can tell, you know, it's just like acting then, it's not really a proper first impressions review. Now then, I think we've got to see this seat, because I think this is going to be something special. 3D printing here. Now we've seen the kind of seen the photo-etch already, but let's have a look at this. Whoa! Good Lord, isn't it? It's the first time I've had one of these 3D printed parts in my hand, to be honest. Now then, it's a very strange sort of salmon colour. It's not the most photogenic shade, but look at that. Whoa. That is remarkable. It's very detailed. You've got the ejection tube on the back. Whoops. In the frame it helps. Ejection tube at the rear there, as you can see. Isn't it nice? Got the headrest there attached to the 3D connection point. That's a nice little seat. Well, there is of course one more. Those wheels and tyres. Should we do it? This is where I'm going to check back and he's going to say, because obviously I'm filming this many days before you see it. I'm going to check back and he's going to say, no, don't open those. Oops. Whoops, the daisies. Where did I put it, the other one? Got my wrong glasses, which isn't helping me. So, here it is. Now, this is a bit more tricky because, I don't think I will with this one because it's, we can kind of see it and we've already seen that. It's not very camera friendly, it's just this matte black colour, so it's not, forget it out of the packet. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot more anyway, so we won't worry about that. So, there we are. Move all these dead staples out of the way. And we will have our verdicts about what we think of the clear prop Mig-23 MLA Flogger-G, in fact. We'll put our little clear parts canopy set away there. And there we have it. So, I have to say that I am genuinely very impressed because I've never seen these people before, and there's a subtlety and finesse about the moulding that is perhaps a little bit lacking in some of the manufacturers at this scale. I mean, I didn't quite anticipate that the fineness of some of the panel lining and the engraving of it. It's just remarkable, really. So I will have to come to a bit of a verdict. The verdict is I can't pack boxes. Right, back to the normal glasses so I can see you. Hello, audience. What do we think then? Well, it's a little bit pricey, and I think that the only downsides to it, a little bit pricey. It is a bit pricey at £47. I think it was £40. I think I'd be a lot more, impressed by the value. I think that the instructions are beautifully printed and diagrammed, but could just be improved on with some more descriptive data, because you look at some of those parts, especially that bit where they did the tail base, the tail with the, I think is it the light and the parachute thing option at the back. I think it has the option of a drogue parachute. That was not clear. That particular one was almost nonsensical. You're looking at it and thinking, what's it supposed to be, So it's not perfect, but I still think the instructions are very good. The colour call-outs are great. The photo-etch looks lovely. There's some nice decals. Haven't used them obviously, but they look very nice. And there's a lot of stencils. Makes me feel tired just thinking about it. Anyway, I'm going to give this, I think, it's a company that's in a very difficult situation to be able to produce anything really. I'm going to give that 9.5 out of 10. Maybe a fraction generous, but I don't think overly so. I think it could have been 10 out of 10 quite easily. A fraction less price, maybe it's £43 or something like that, and it just got a little bit more clarity in the instructions. But overall, what a lovely package. It's nicely packed. It's very professional looking, you know, competent packaging. Again, they could do with some slightly bigger printing. You better have your glasses on when you're reading this. It's alright on my camera, but I tell you, that's, you know, they've got just over an inch across for a paragraph, so you better have good eyesight, chaps and chapesses. A very impressive newcomer, I would say that is. I'd like to see more of their product, but I think that the only thing you've got to be very wary of is that some of that superfine detail, you want to go easy with your painting coats. You know, you don't want to do too many heavy primers and then multiple coats of paint, because I think you might dangerous you fill them in. But it's interesting, it says expert level modeller. Well, that reels me out straight away then, I suppose. But it's a nice kit, isn't it? I think that's a real cracker. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10 from me. Hope you thought that was interesting. Nice to see a new manufacturer, especially from Ukraine, coming through. I will certainly be looking out for more clear prop kits. So if the gentleman who very kindly loaned us this, I was going to say donated, but he'll get cross if I say that. Yes, it's someone that I actually we've actually sent each other things before, and yeah, I have to say the postal service to me from him was brilliant. When I sent things to him, it was terrible. But anyway, there we go. I think it's just a Royal Mail problem. But yeah, so if you've got any more of those, anything new coming through in the near future, that's a manufacturer we should all watch out for. I'd not heard of them before about autumn of last year, if I'm honest. I'm very impressed indeed. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thought it was an interesting subject. Nice to see a flogger done well. Certainly better than the Airfix one that I remember. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. Don't forget, if you haven't already, to give us a like, a 10 out of 10, the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And it's essential that you click the notification bell to make sure that you get notified as soon as one of my vids comes up. And I hope to see you again in the not too distant future. We've still got some interesting things coming through, some quite big kits that you're going to enjoy. And then we've also got in May, we've got I'm going to do a talk about the Dam Busters, the Operation Chastise, the Ruhr Dams raid in May 1943. I think you'll find that very interesting. I've done a bit of research. I've got a very interesting book to share with you, and I've got, of course, the Tamiya Dam Buster Lancaster. Not a new toolkit, but a bit of a classic, and I think that'll be quite interesting to have a look at that. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Hope you all stay well and stay safe, and until next time, thanks a lot, and bye for now.